Um, Kind of steering away from food, at least for today. This is just a weird revelation that I've come into, I guess, over the last year or something. But I'm 35 years old at this point. Going on 36 here pretty soon. But it's like I don't know about you and how you felt like kind of navigating through your 30s and stuff, but it was like I kind of think back, and this has been like a trend I've had over the last year. But it's like every night when I go to sleep now, I'm like I'm kind of getting, one step older, one step closer to, you know, uh, adulthood, being older, like, semi midlife crisis, I guess you could put it. But I'm almost like more appreciative of the days and kind of making sure that I fill them with good things to do and kind of with, the people that I want to fill them with. And then just making sure I'm getting as much as I can out of myself from like a personal standpoint, what I do at work, exercise, health, all that stuff. But like, I don't know about you, but in my 20s, I always was like looking forward. I was always like, what am I going to be in 5, 10 years? Like, where am I going to be? What am I going to be doing? Who will I, ultimately become? And it's kind of funny how that, like, it's kind of completely flipped on its head. And now it's more or less just like keeping things simple and like just making sure to keep everything centered in my day and stuff. But like, I don't know if you go through these kind of like thoughts or having these perspectives on, being now in our 30s when at times I feel like I'm 18 in my head. How do you feel about it all? Like just life overall and kind of what you're doing on a daily basis and where you're going, where you came from.
I mean, there's nothing like that says like a midlife crisis than I guess starting a sports podcast for a dude, right? So, no, for sure. Like I think as I get older, right? Like I have enough money, so I'm not like constantly trying to always necessarily prove myself to everybody and their mom, right? Like I feel pretty good about where I'm at financially, being able to take care of myself. Like yeah, I have savings, 401k, all that fun stuff. So I feel a lot better about, I think, where I'm at financially. Could I be better? Sure. Can't we all? But, numbers wise, I feel pretty good overall. And, I don't spend too much money except on coffee and cold brews. But, I think right now I'm pretty solid there. Yeah, eventually, I own a condo now. Would eventually like to have a house and stuff like that. But, yeah, like it's much more about the lifestyle that I'm in right now rather than the ability to do so. So, but no, I think for me, it is definitely much more about just embracing, the moment a little bit more. I feel like, at least for myself, as I sleep, like I look forward to sleeping, I think is my thing. As you get older, right? Like you embrace sleep a little bit more. You also just don't have as much energy all the time. So I know for you it's a little bit different, right? It's like you kind of aren't always able to sleep necessarily when you want to because of trying to take care of a human being there and everything. But for me, I definitely gravitates towards I want to enjoy my sleep, and then I wake up the next day feeling sore too. Like, wait, did I do anything last night? No, I didn't. I just watched TV, and for whatever reason, I'm sore in bed. As I wake up now, so. And then I have to stretch and take care of myself a little bit more in that sense. But I feel like so physically maybe I'm like slowing down a little bit, which I'm like, damn, like when did this happen? Kind of just feel like it happened overnight in a way. But at the same time, I think I'm more sure of who I am, what I want to be, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, etc. I'm not trying to impress, again, like I said, like everybody underneath the sun. Very much more, I think, sure, just about what I want, for a future and, career wise, things like that too, spouse wise as well. So I'm not, trying to go out of my way to always try to impress people as much. Just embracing, the loved ones I have right now because they're not always going to be there, right? And then also taking care of the, the loved ones that I have. That I know are going to be around for, hopefully a lot longer. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel like I have a couple of thoughts and stuff, but like it's funny because every time I go to sleep, I'm usually really tired, but then I'm also like well, then I'm just one day closer. It's like it's kind of like, so sometimes I have like some curiosities that'll even keep me up like 30 an hour extra, and I'm just like, I shouldn't be thinking about this stuff. Just go to bed. It's like, it's so funny at times, but I think like just taking my diet more seriously now. Like, I'm not a freak or anything like that, but I just feel like I think about everything that I eat. Whereas like when I was in my 20s, like, hey, like whatever I want, whenever I want and stuff. But I will agree with your point too, just on like, let's call it impressing people or whatever else, or like doing things that normally you wouldn't, so that you can maybe get ahead or feel like you're fitting into a different crowd and stuff. Like now I just think about like, how do I maximize my time where I'm doing the things that I enjoy, and it's just like, it's also adding benefits along the way for my health or my intelligence or whatever else. So it's kind of like, I'm just picking all the things that I want to line up in a day. And I'm like trying to make sure that, yeah, I'm going to get to like look at my sports at some point in the day, or I'm going to be able to like tackle the projects that I have on my list. And those are things that I wanted to do, or things that like fit into what I think are important issues and stuff. And then obviously like setting aside time for my family, and like time with friends has gotten so limited that it's just like, I'm just happy to see the person when I'm able to see them. That's like kind of how it feels at this point. But yeah, it's so funny because you think back to like when you're 20 in your 20s, or when you were mid 20s, late 20s and stuff. And it's like, maybe sometimes like projecting out this vision of who I'd actually be. And it's like all along, I feel like I'm closer to who I was when I was in my younger 20s and maybe my later 20s at this point. Cause I'm like, no, I just know what I like and I know who I am. And it's like, that's kind of a nice feeling. Like you're like, I'm doing the things that I like, and whoever surrounds me in this process probably will be like-minded or will be enjoyable to be around, because I choose to enjoy my time.
Yeah, no, it definitely is like, your people, what's the saying? Yeah, the people you surround yourself, like the 5 people you spend the most time with, right, are kind of who you're going to be. Like they're going to shape you more so of. So that definitely is, I think, as you're getting into your, your 30s and your 40s, right? You kind of went through your 20s. 20s, you're just trying to be friends with everybody, right? And then it's like when you're in your 30s and your 20s, it kind of just dwindles down as people are starting to have, families, getting more, busier in their careers, getting promoted and things like that. So they just have a little bit less time and, free willing to do a lot of, different things. So, and, moving to, so there's a lot of things that happens, I think, in your 30s and 40s there. But yeah, 20s, it's all about exploring and trying different things, which, hey, I think that's great. I think that's, essential for someone's evolution, right? And then 30s, hopefully, yeah, you're a little bit more shored up about yourself, what you like, what you don't like. You don't have as much of that FOMO, right? Like it's like, oh, maybe I don't want to go skydiving in my 30s or 40s, right? So totally fine, great thing to do in your 20s. But yeah, maybe 30s, 40s, like, okay, well, I don't have to do that. Like, or running a marathon, I don't have to do that. I can just go and, go to Kansas City for the NFL draft instead. Like, one less thing to do there and eat my hearts out. So, yeah, I think it's definitely, and I think it's, a mixture. Like, you do want to like maybe challenge yourself ever so often, but you also like sometimes it's good just to relax and be comfortable with, kind of who you are right now. Right. So,
yeah, if you're constantly being in like robot mode and just like trying to advance everything to another level and this and that, like, I don't know, for me personally, I just feel like that would lead to a lot of burnout, a lot of added stress, probably a very one-dimensional type mind frame. Like, I don't know, I like to have balance. I think balance is super important, and it actually seems like it's needed too. Like, I think getting good rest and spending time with people, getting out and like being in the sun for a day, or like eating 3 square meals. Like, I see a lot of people sacrificing so much of that stuff. It's like, yeah, just completely detrimental. But yeah, overall, I think this was productive for me, at least, to share that, because I feel like it's been on my mind enough where I'm like, see if maybe check to see if I'm crazy or whatever else. But in the same sense, like, it's kind of nice to like, you don't always feel alone in those thoughts and stuff like that too. So yeah, thought we had a really well-rounded show. I'm excited to watch back our draft. I hope you guys all enjoyed it too. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe. Definitely helps us kind of move closer to monetization. Drop us a comment. Follow us on Instagram, at Ball and Breakfast. We are also on Apple, Google Podcasts too, Spotify. So you can find us in a lot of different mediums here. So thanks again for joining us. With Wayne, I'm Patrick signing off for the Ball and Breakfast podcast.